awesome. I logged in a few minutes early and there was already a bunch of people in the room. So that is awesome. I just want to make sure you all can hear me. Can I get a yes in the chat if you can see and hear me? Okay, awesome. Thank you, Brenda. Okay. Welcome. I'm like so happy to see you guys here. We had like 300 people register for this webinar, which is fantastic. I would love, just as we're getting started and doing some housekeeping things, I would love to know where you are all from. So let me know where you are tuning in from. A couple little things that I just want to share with everyone. So, wow, Vancouver, Holland, Vermont, Ottawa, lots of Ottawa people. Ottawa people are my people. Southwest Florida, yay, Illinois. I love it, love it, love it, love it. Couple of things. So first, I want to introduce Cass Bald. Cass Bald is my senior marketing manager, right hand extraordinaire in the business, and she is here to support me. Cass, this is being recorded in the cloud, but I don't know if you want to record on your desktop or not as a backup, just because I know that sometimes it's easier to process the recording if we have it on a desktop. So Cass is going to be here to help out. She will be moderating the Q&A when we get to that point, and probably answering some questions in the chat while we go along. And then just a couple of little things that I want to just let everyone know. If you can stay till the end, please stay till the end. I know what it's like to register for a webinar and go, oh, I'll go back and watch the recording. And, best of intentions usually doesn't happen. So I think this is a really important 90-minute commitment that you've made today, because some of what we're going to talk about is what the future looks like. And I am really excited to be sharing that with you. Also, just a couple of little rules that I want to let people know. So I see some note takers in the chat. Cass is going to be going through and removing note takers. Note takers are not permitted in the webinar. We are recording the webinar and we will send everyone a recording and it will be available, I say for 48 hours, but the truth is we'll probably take the recording down Monday morning. So you'll have the weekend to watch the replay if you'd like to watch the replay. And then there's just one other rule, and I hate to even have to say this, but we kind of have a no jerk rule on these webinars. We put a lot of effort into creating something great for people. And if you were on my 4-hour intensive back in December, we had one person that was kind of not very nice in the chat. And I learned from that. I learned that in the future, if there's somebody kind of needling and saying not nice things and telling other people that they should do things differently, that, you're not really here for the right reason. And we are just going to politely remove and block you from the webinar. So it's not to say that you can't chat and have a different opinion, but if you're somebody that is trying to be antagonistic and take away from the experience of everyone else, then we're just not going to tolerate that. So I like jerk-free zones myself. I like to surround myself with good people, and I think you probably all feel the same way. That is right, JJ and Kerrigan. No jerks allowed. Okay, so I need you guys to do me a favor, and if you do it, I want you to just type done in the chat so that I know. I sent you an email that said we start in 15 minutes. And I want to show you something later on this webinar. So I would like you to go to your inbox, find that email that says we start in 15 minutes, and I want you to reply and just say anything to me. Just hit reply. You can say, hey, Lisa, I'm here. Hey, Lisa, doing what you asked. Hey, Lisa, just anything. I want you to go to that email and just hit reply. And once you have done that in the chat, just let me know that you have done it. Because I'm going to show you something really, really cool later on, but I can only show you live if you participate right now and reply to that email. So it's not some many chat thing. You're not going to get an autoresponder or anything. Those emails are going to come right to my inbox, and I'm going to show you why that matters or why it's kind of cool in a little bit. All right, so I'm curious. How many of you are potentially feeling a little bit overwhelmed by all of the different options that you have available to you when it comes to AI? Or maybe you are feeling like there's so much information out there that you don't know who to trust, you don't know where to start, you don't know, what you should do, or maybe you're feeling like it's being overhyped. People are saying that you can do things, but then you try to do those things and it doesn't necessarily work out the way that you thought. Maybe you are feeling like you're a little bit behind, or maybe you're questioning whether or not you actually have what it takes to keep up with this fast-paced changing environment. Um, if you are feeling that way, I want you to know that it's normal. It is normal for you to be feeling unsure. It's normal for you to be feeling overwhelmed. It's normal for you to feel like it's a big, big time suck because there is so much going on with AI that is so new. And, I don't consider myself to be a crazy techie person. I don't know how to code, but I'm okay with my computer and my phone. Like I tend to be able to figure things out. And a few months ago, I joined a program where I was being taught in a 1 hour a week over a 4 week period how to create my first agent. And I have to tell you, I felt really, really, really overwhelmed. The instructor, while they did a really nice job teaching, there were a couple instances when they were teaching and they were using screenshots that they missed a step. And then I found myself kind of going around in circles trying to figure out what that step was. And some of the jargon or the tech talk that they were using was over my head. I didn't understand what it meant when they were talking about skills and markdown files. And I'm like, do I need a skill? How do I build a skill? And so I had to stop and remind myself that I'm a smart person and I can figure this stuff out. This is just learning a new skill. And so I want to remind you all that you are very smart people too, and you can learn new skills. Now, when I was learning how to do this, I got to be honest with you. I sat in on the sessions live and I took notes the entire time. And then I went back and I watched the recording of the sessions. And then I started, I'd watch a little bit, I'd pause, I'd do, I'd watch a little bit, I'd pause, I'd do. And it was a little bit humbling because I have not put myself in an environment where I was learning something completely out of my comfort zone in a long time. But I did. And you can too. And it's important that you recognize that this is the future. It is not going away. So let me just talk to you a little bit about what we are going to do today. I have good news and I have bad news. I'm going to show you what is possible, which is the good news. The bad news is I cannot teach you step by step over the next 90 minutes to do everything that I have learned how to do over the last few months. It's physically impossible. And if I tried, you would probably just leave here with your hands up in the air saying, that's too much. I don't want to do this. So I have a very clearly defined roadmap for us to follow today. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what is possible. And I want to show you so that you expand your thinking of what you are capable of doing in your business. I want you to see what this new normal can look like. My big aha moment in using AI assistants was when I asked it to go into a PowerPoint presentation for me and make a whole bunch of changes, and it did it. I was like, oh my God, if it can actually open a file on my computer and make changes for me, what else can it do? So I'm hoping to give you that moment of possibility today so that you can start to think about what is possible for you. I'm going to teach you some theories, some principles, some mindsets, because I think that that is really important from a foundational perspective in terms of you as a business owner thinking about where you go with this. And then I'm going to show you even more cool stuff that you can do. So there's going to be a lot of show and tell happening, and we have time at the very end where I will be answering questions. So don't worry, I got you covered for questions. And At the end, I'm going to share how you can continue on this journey with me if you would like to learn how to do this. And I'm going to have a couple of options for people and some really great bonuses if you decide that you want to go on this journey, especially if you feel like you maybe are not quite ready for this yet. I'm going to share with you how you can get yourself ready a little bit sooner. So, expect that I'm going to invite you to consider partnering with me on your learning. And there's no obligation to do that, but I do have something very special to share with you at the end of this webinar. And then I also want to remind you all that we all learn at different rates. Some of you, as I go through this stuff today, you're going to be like following along and you're like, oh, that's awesome. And you're going to actually wish I was going faster. And other people are going to be like, oh my God, it's too much, slow down. We all start from different places, and it's okay to feel like things are too fast, or it's okay to feel like things are too slow. If things are too fast for you, that's why you can watch the recording. That's why you can, do what I did. You can take notes and double down on things and go back. I'm going to give you the recording until Monday, so you'll have lots of time to go back and look at things and really think through them. And if things are too slow for you, well, that just means that your possibility radar is huge and you should be thinking about what else can you do because you're probably further along the path, and that is a good thing. But I want to commend all of you for showing up. The best way to learn is to actually show up. And a lot of people are acting like this is a fad and they've got their head in the sand and they're buying into all these myths and things that are not really true about AI, and they're actually slowing down their own progress. I talk about this later, but the biggest competition you have in business right now is not AI. It's the business owner who does what you do that knows how to use AI better than you. So you're doing the right thing by being here today. So I really want you to put on that lens of possibility. And I want to tell you a quick little story. I was thinking about this today. I was thinking about how, back in 1997, when I started working in the wireless industry, I remember going to one of the first all employee meetings, and Wade Osterman, who was our EVP of sales and marketing, he was doing a presentation and he was talking to us about cell phones and how these phones, you were going to be able to take pictures and watch video on these phones. And at the time, PCS phones, like those little tiny Sony phones with the jog dial, had just come out. We didn't even have flip phones. And he's talking about the future, and we're all watching him like he's crazy. Like, who on earth? You could barely get YouTube to stream on your internet connection back then because it was so slow. How on earth are we going to watch video on phones? But yet today, not only do we watch video on phones, we FaceTime people. So the future is changing, and I just want to invite you to be open-minded about what it might look like and how it might create better opportunities for you. All right, so let's dig in. I've got some sharing to do, and I'm going to share my desktop because I'm going to toggle back between a bunch of different things today. Oh, look, lots of people replying to me. That is beautiful. All right, I want to start with this landing page, and I'm curious, how many of you have either a landing page on your website right now that you don't like, or you have a landing page that you really wish that you could put up, but you are struggling to put the copy together, never feels quite right, never feels quite ready, and so although you don't have it, you kind of wish you did. Well, I offer this service, and I'm not trying to sell you on this service, I'm just sharing the story of what I did. I offer this service called a strategic marketing roadmap. And it is typically the first step that people take when they work with me and my team in our consulting firm. And I have been delivering strategic marketing roadmaps for years, but I have always sold them through a conversation. Somebody calls me and they tell me what they need, and I say, first step should be a strategic marketing roadmap, blah, 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 blah. And I have never, ever, ever put this service on my website. Yesterday, I decided to take a strategic marketing roadmap presentation, the proposal that I sent somebody for the strategic marketing roadmap, and the presentation deliverable that we gave them once the roadmap was done. And I asked AI to take all that information and reverse engineer it into creating a sales page for me. So I'm going to show you this thing. It's called the iTerm 2. It's a terminal that I use. It's essentially where I communicate with my agents, and I'm going to get into what that means in a little bit. But I just want to show you. This is the screen. So I recreated this today. I went through and I said, I need you, here's my prompt. I need you to create a landing page copy for the strategic marketing roadmap. Please go into my download folder from yesterday and find the 4 documents related to SMRs. 2 are completed, 1 is a presentation, 1 is a proposal. I need you to review the documents, reverse engineer the copy I can use for a landing page, follow the StoryBrand framework, and provide me with an easy to copy and paste prompt that I can then use in Claude Design to build a mock-up of the page. So it started by looking for all this stuff, yada, yada, yada. It's thinking, it's asking me for permissions. There's a little bit of white space. It's analyzing. Then it comes back and it had picked something else up that was old. I told it to ignore it. But then here it comes back and it's like, the file is updated. Here's the prompt. Copy everything between the lines. So I would copy all of this all the way down to the footer. All right. And I'm going to press Command C. So it wrote this for me and it did this yesterday. And this is what I got. I got this beautiful landing page. Now, is it perfect? Probably not. Are there things that I need to do? Likely. I likely need to wordsmith and modify the copy and change a few things. But oh my gosh, isn't it easier to edit from something that looks like this than to try to create and visualize in your mind what it looks like? So if I go to Claude Design, you can see here's the copy that I pasted in, and here's what it gave me. If I go back over here right now, you'll notice if I take that prompt and I paste it in, so this is the prompt it gave me when I did this a second time. I've already created my own design system inside of here, and I'll just show you right up here. Here are my brand guidelines that were used for the design system. My agent created these for me. I dump them in here. I say I want a prototype because that's what I want, and then I press go. Now, it may come over here and it may ask me a few questions, and I'll flip back and forth and answer the questions. But I just want to show you as we work through everything today, what is possible. And I want you to think about what this could mean for you. How many ideas do you have on the back burner that you've never turned into real things in your business because you either didn't have the money, you didn't have the resources, you didn't have the time, you didn't know where to start, you get stuck in analysis paralysis? That if you actually had a partner that could work with you this way, could fast track those things, what could it mean for your business? I mean, I'm just going to share a little sneak peek with you because I did this for the program that I'm going to share with you guys later on called Agent Nation. And this landing page was also created in Claude Design. And guess what? It saved my developer 3 to 4 hours of time in development because of what I was able to do. Because when this thing finishes, you can actually export the HTML, you can export the design pack, and you can just give it to a developer to do it for you. Now, I know there's probably tools out there where I can just, upload it into an AI generative site, but I don't have an AI generative site. My website is built on WordPress, and I have a theme that I already use. So I'm already in that pretty deep. So I don't necessarily want to just switch to something new. But if I was building a new website or I was building a standalone page for something, this would be a really fast, easy way to do it. All right, now let's move into the presentation while this thing is baking, and I will come back. So the purpose of today's presentation is to really help you to see how you can build a team strategy and a marketing engine with AI for about $100 a month. So who am I? A lot of you know who I am. You've been either in some of my programs, you've come to some of my events, or you've been on webinars like this before. But if you don't know who I am, I am not an AI expert, meaning I did not grow up in AI. So I feel like there are a couple of different types of teachers out there right now. There are what I would call native AI people who all they know is AI, so they teach AI. There are opportunists who, they were in some business that it has nothing to do with AI, but now all of a sudden they're an AI expert. Or there are people like me that I have been in the business that I'm in right now for 2 decades, helping business owners grow. And AI is a natural tool that can help you grow. It's a natural tool that can help you with sales and marketing and administration and all that stuff. So I am a business owner first and foremost, just like you, trying to figure out how do I use AI to make my business better. I am not a business owner who's trying to replace my team with AI. No, the exact opposite. In fact, I started working on AI strategies and paying my team to learn about AI a year and a half ago because I was able to predict that the future was going to have an impact on our work. And I wanted our team to be AI ready. I wanted AI to be something that we all looked at through the lens of possibility and that we all used and taught each other. So I actually, for a year, paid for people to spend anywhere from 60 to 90 minutes a week learning something. And then they had to actually come back and share and teach each other what they were learning so that our team as a whole was growing. The powerful thing about scaling is if you have the right tools and the right technology, you can grow without having to hire more people. And so I'm never going to be here to tell you that AI should replace people. I think AI and people are really important. I think that having a human in the loop, having a human lead creativity, having a human who has more time to do all the things that humans do, like build relationships, is super, super important. So I'm a business owner first and foremost. I love to bridge proven marketing with the newest AI tools. I love to show people how to get found with AI, how to repurpose their content with AI, like all the cool things that you can do. And my organization runs on an AI team that I have led and directed for about $100 a month. But it runs side by side with some really smart, really great people. So that's a little bit about who I am. I consider myself okay with technology, but I'm not a techie person. Like I have never coded a website before in my life. So I want you to know that because I don't want you to think that when I'm showing you this stuff that like, oh, well, she knows how to code. Like her company builds websites. This is easy for her. It was not easy for me to learn, but it was learnable. All right, as we move into the learning, I want to just talk to you about the conscious competence cycle because I think this is really important to come back to. It's the way we learn. So there are 4 levels of learning. You can be unconsciously incompetent, consciously competent, and then unconsciously competent. So when you're unconsciously incompetent, you don't know what you don't know until you do. And now all of a sudden you're consciously incompetent. I remember when I got my driver's license, everybody said, do shoulder checks, do shoulder checks. And I was like, all right, I guess I got to do shoulder checks, but I don't know why I do shoulder checks. Nobody's ever there. I was unconsciously incompetent until the first day I looked over my shoulder and there was a car there and I was just about to change lanes and I didn't because if I hadn't looked over my shoulder and saw that car, I would have caused an accident. So now I know I'm consciously incompetent. I've got a license and I can drive, but I've been doing this thing and not knowing why I'm doing it. Now I know what I'm doing. Over time, I developed conscious competence where it's just no, it's like second nature to check your rear view mirror, to check your over your shoulder before you change lanes. And then over time, you become unconsciously competent. You don't even have to think about it, you just do it by design. You go through these stages in everything you learn, including learning about AI. So give yourself some grace as you learn. When you learn new things, it feels uncomfortable when you are in that conscious incompetent stage. And human nature is to want to go away. So when I took that course to learn how to build an agent, and that one step was missing, and I kept watching the video and trying over and over and over again for an hour, there was a big part of me that wanted to just stop because it was hard. But I was like, no, I am going to grapple with this and I am going to figure it out. And I did. And then I became more consciously competent. And now I'm doing things like on an unconsciously competent level because I've overcome those barriers. So when I think about the learning pathway for AI, you've probably experienced this. First, you hear about AI, you probably use one tool and you use it like Google, you query information. Then you learn how to prompt better and maybe do a few cool things. You're teaching yourself, you're following a whole bunch of people, but you're not necessarily getting great outcomes. You kind of probably have been in those situations where you started with AI instead of starting with your own brain and it spun you around in circles. So you hit that dip and you think it's not really worth it. I give up. And then you see somebody doing something that you haven't done and you start again and you become curious and you want to learn. And I want to encourage you when you hit that dip and you think it's not worth it to remember you are probably in that consciously incompetent state and you want to keep going. You want to break through that. You can do hard things and you can learn this. All right. So what the heck is an agent? I hear all these people brag, "Oh, I have 150 agents. You know what? Really? An agent is an AI assistant, and you give that assistant a job or a task. You give it memory, and you give it the tools to do that job repeatedly without you having to re-explain it every single time. So it's got a job memory, it's got rules, sometimes it has skills, and it is able to do the work for you. The truth is, though, these things that they call agents are just like taskmasters. It's like you give it a task and it does this task for you, and that is its responsibility. You really have one quote agent who oversees all of these little taskmasters, and it's like the art director. It's pointing the finger and telling it what to do. I call mine my chief of everything, and it helps me to deploy my team. So that's all an agent is. Here is my team. So you've got me, the founder. You've got my lead agent, who is the chief of everything. They delegate, coordinate, keep everything on track, problem solve, update rules, all that kind of stuff. And then I basically have four departments. I've got a marketing and brand department. I've got a program and clients department. I've got an inbox and briefings. And then I've got team and internal operations. So under marketing and brand, I have an AI search analyst. Every single day, it delivers an email to me with the top 10 things that I need to know about the changing landscape of AI-driven search, because that's a big part of our business. I have a customer value advocate, which is always looking at the work that we do through the lens of the customer and making sure that I don't miss things. So it sanity checks things and points out gaps for me. And then I've got a brand designer, which maintains the brand system and helps to ensure that things are always created on brand. Under programs, I have a program manager. So my program manager is for my AI program. So AI driven marketing made easy and Agent Nation operations. It understands the program. So, when you're trying to remember, oh, what are the dates and times? I can just ask my program manager, what are the dates, times, and topics for this particular program? And it spits it out like this, and I can put it in an email to somebody if I need it, or I can ask it to work with me on creating stuff based on the program, or I can ask it to look at a presentation that I've done and run it through the program to see if I've missed anything. I've got a PC Claude expert because I use Mac, so I need an expert on my team that can help me with the step-by-step nuances for somebody who's using a PC. And then I have my inbox agents. I have my inbox triage agent, who's my absolute favorite agent in the world. He saves me hours every single day, or she saves me hours every day by managing my inbox. I have a briefing agent that sends me a morning brief that tells me what's going on in the world, what I have on my calendar, what the weather is, regardless of whether I'm here or I'm traveling. I've got an agent that gives me on Sunday a look at my week ahead. I've got one that sends me content ideas on a weekly basis. And then I've got my team and internal ops. So I've got internal recap. So one of my agents files all of my recordings from Zoom, Fathom, etc., and it writes follow-up messages for people. And the messages are way better than just sending people the recording because it personalizes them, and I have my own framework that I've taught it that it follows for every single message. And then I have a team notes or a people performance tool. so that I can just quickly say to my AI, hey, add to the people performance this. And then it adds it. And then when I have a team meeting and I want to bring something up, whether it's good or constructive, it will automatically remember it for me. So I don't have to go hunt and peck for notes and files to be able to do that. So those are some of the agents that I have created over the last few months. So let's talk a little bit about the Claude Convergence. Over the last little while, here's what I want you to think about. People tend to start with one tool and they stick with that one tool for a very long time. And people are saying to me, ooh, do I have to pay $20 for the app or whatever? I pay for Gemini, I pay for Claude, and I pay for ChatGPT. And I use all three interchangeably. But I have been using Claude more lately, and a lot of people have been migrating to Claude because it's got chat, cowork, code, and now design all built in to the application to make it super, super easy for you to converge all the things that you're doing into one. It is an amazing tool for handling your thinking, your work, understanding your business, and I just think that it's got everything in one place. But I also want to caution you that can change. These models are competing neck and neck with each other all the time to get the next best thing. Like Claude just released Fable, which is supposed to be the best, highest level worker in the world right now, but it's very expensive. And so that's kind of put them a little bit ahead of some of the other models. But, a while ago, when Gemini released Nano Banana, it was better than what ChatGPT was doing. And then ChatGPT released a new design update and it was better. So I want you all to be thinking about tools, not just a tool. So I'm curious in the chat, how many of you have ever used Gamma.ai? How many of you have ever used Midjourney? How many of you have used Blow Potato? Like there's all these different tools. How about Whisper AI? There's all these different tools out there. And you don't want to have tunnel vision and just experiment with one. You want to be open to experimenting with a bunch of them. All right. I'm reading The Rockefeller Habits right now. And it is a really, really, really old book. But I have just found that there are three things that they talk about in this book that are so relevant to today's business. Three barriers to growth. One, leadership. Two, systems and structure. Three, market dynamics. So your leadership is the most important aspect of growing your business. And you have to be able to grow your ability to delegate and predict the future. So, I was talking about how a year and a half ago, I said to my team, I think our industry is going to change. We need to be AI forward, AI first in everything we do. I was predicting the changes that were coming. Delegation, like, I get it. Sometimes it's just easier to do it yourself than to tell somebody else how to do it, but that's not how you grow. And so when you think in terms of AI, you have to learn how to prompt and communicate with these tools in order to get the outcomes you want. I did a video this week. I said AI slop is created by human sloppiness. When humans don't know how to delegate properly, and we can't delegate properly to another human being, we've got to figure out how to delegate better, not only to human beings, but also to AI in order to get the results that you want. This will be a competitive advantage in your future if you can communicate and delegate better. Systems and structure. AI assistants are built for complex systems, multi-step processes. So if you want to be able to handle the complexity that comes with growth, you're either going to have to spend a lot more money on hiring people, or you're going to figure out how to get AI to do some of that busy work for you. And then thirdly, navigating the trickier dynamics of a bigger marketplace. The marketplace is about to expand because AI has removed the barrier to entry. I just showed you guys how quick it was to create a page like this. Everybody is going to be creating things at a rapid speed if they understand how to use the technology, which means that market dynamics are going to change and you have to be ready for those changes. If you're not using AI, you won't be ready. So for about $100 a month, maybe even $200 a month, you can build a team that you delegate to that can run systems so you can focus on the things that are best done by humans. In order to do all of this work in Claude, I am on the Claude Max 100 plan. I think there's a Claude Max 200 or 250, but I have not needed to use it yet. And I use my Claude AI assistant a lot. So if you want to do the things that I'm showing you how to do, you need to think about investing probably $100 a month. And the reason I said closer to 200 is because I'm still paying for Gemini and I'm still paying for ChatGPT and I pay for other subscriptions that actually enable our team to do more work. Like I pay for Whisper.ai because you can talk faster than you can type and it can help my entire team get more done faster. So why do I want them to spend time typing when they can just spend time talking? So you got to have a little bit of a mindset shift around investing in these tools in your business and learning how to use the tools that you have invested in. So the three kind of leadership competencies that I want you to really be thinking about is one, investigate. You have to get curious and you have to investigate the possibilities and see what is actually possible for you. You got to learn how to delegate that communication, how to actually use skills, rules, and interactions with your AI. And then you need to learn how to activate it. So, activate it meaning put it on a schedule or run it on demand, get it to do the work for you. I have agents that work on a loop. So my inbox agent works every single hour, whereas my weekly briefing works once a week, my daily briefing once a day. So you can deploy things on demand or you can actually put them to work all the time. And I got to tell you something else. All right. There's a lot of people out there like, oh, I buy these Mac minis and they work all. You don't need to do all that stuff. Maybe if you get into far more complex stuff, but everything that I'm teaching you right now, I don't have an extra computer for it. I'm using my own computer. I'm going to talk about risk later on. I definitely have partitioned what AI can and cannot access for safety. And I've definitely set permissions up so that I have to say yes to everything that it does. And I think those things are important, but I just want you to know you don't need to go buy a new computer to do all of this. However, there is no easy button, all right? There's some skill development that is required. And I want you to remember this muscle memory doesn't happen when you delegate your push ups. You don't get stronger by asking your personal trainer to do your push ups for you. It happens through your involvement. You cannot abdicate responsibility for your business to AI. You have to grow as a leader. You have to grow your ability to think and predict. You have to grow your ability to communicate and prompt. You have to grow your ability to inspect what you expect and get critical thinking involved and solve problems because your agent's going to make mistakes. I train my inbox assistant every single day. If there's a little thing, a little nuance that needs to be fixed, I add it to the rules on a daily basis. So every day it's getting better and better and better and better. And that is your job as a leader. You cannot predict if you hand your thinking over to AI, though. The biggest mistake you will make is not starting with your own brain and starting with AI as the brain. So don't think that I'm here to tell you that you can just like throw your hands up in the air and let AI do everything for you. I write still almost all of my own copy. Now, that landing page copy I showed you, I will go through and I will edit and modify it. And I love that it was able to summarize based on work that I've actually done and create that for me. But when you read emails from me or you read blogs from me or you watch a video of me, that's all me. I would never send you an email that I was not directly involved in because what if you said something to me and I didn't know what you were talking about? Trust will go out the window. And having trust is far too important to me to give it away to AI. So it's important that you think tools, not tool, because you're going to need more tools as you continue to expand into the future. Understand the risks. So I talked about this. I give AI access to files that I download on my desktop. I do not give it access to my Google Drive because I am not ready to do that yet. I give it write-only permission. It can go into my inbox and write, but it cannot send things. Only I can send things. That gives me the chance to proof everything before it goes out in the world. You need to understand your permissions because when you're setting up permissions inside of Claude to give code access, you're going to have to say, yes, it can do certain things and it cannot. Don't just default turn everything on. Turn things on, and as you gain more confidence in what the tool is able to do, you can give it more permissions. But it's okay for you to be cautious. You should be cautious in the beginning, especially when you are learning. And then, just like you have to follow up and inspect what you expect with a human, you're going to have to do this with AI. Too often, we think that people can read our minds and they can't. And AI is no different. It knows it remembers a heck of a lot more than humans do, but you still have to pay attention to what it's doing and give it feedback in order for it to do a better job. And you have to continue to build your own muscle memory by using these AI tools, by continuing to use your brain in terms of the creative part, by continuing to double down on relationships. Those are the things that will differentiate you. So here's my advice when you start doing this, move from simple to complex. The most simple things will unlock your creativity and show you what is possible. So when I just had that idea, gee, can it change the headings and colors and fonts in my PowerPoint presentation for me? And it did it. And it said, I saved your old file and I created a new one. And there were 2 pages where this and this, and here you go. I was like, mind blown. It just saved me an hour of editing. And that made me go, okay, what else can it do? So start simple. When I look at things in my world, simple daily brief. That was the first thing I taught it to do. The week ahead and in review, the weekly content ideas, the PowerPoint. Those were the simple things. Moderate, I'm like, maybe it can file these hundreds of transcripts I get. Maybe it can file all of these emails that I get. Maybe it can actually learn how to delete the spam that I get. Maybe it can draft follow-up emails for me. It can create follow-up structures. It can track performance. And then more complex, the whole rules around the inbox assistant, the rules around the program manager, the subject matter expert, the website design creativity. I can actually get my Claude to create PowerPoint presentations for me. The other day, I had a conversation with somebody who wants our help with AI-driven search. Well, just like SMRs, I've always sold an AI search audit over the phone, and they wanted a proposal. I haven't written a proposal, so I took a completed audit. I asked my agent, I said, take this audit. Here's what they want, a proposal. Here's what I want to deliver to them. Create a proposal for me. Boom, just like that. I had a proposal in my inbox. Literally within an hour of the conversation that I had with the client, I went from no proposal to a confirmed proposal, and we start the work tomorrow. Think about that, the speed at which you will be able to do things. All right, how does Claude work? 3 ways. Chat helps you think. Cowork does the work. Code builds the tools. I use Claude Code installed on my computer in this trusty terminal for almost everything. So here I want to show you something right now. Let's go back to my inbox. I've got hundreds of emails here. We start in 15 minutes. All right, let's go back here. I'm going to press whisper. Hey, I need you to do me a favor. There are over, I think, 100 emails in my inbox that say we start in 15 minutes that people have replied to. I need you to draft a reply to each one of those and put them in my draft folder. And I want you to thank people for showing up for the Claude Convergence webinar. And I want you to thank them for replying to my email so that we could actually do a demo and show them how you can help me reply to a mass grouping of emails. I lift up my button and look, it just typed the whole thing up for me. And now watch what's going to happen. It is actually smooshing things, but it is going, let me find those replies so I know what I'm working with. And now it's calling Gmail and it's looking for the subject. And I'm just going to go back to my presentation for a second. So here's the shift we're going to make. You're going to go from just retrieving information for having AI actually do things for you, like what I'm demoing right now. So it is going to ask me in a minute if 88 replies We're almost here. Got it. Two decisions before I write 88 drafts. So it's going to ask me some questions here before it moves on. So you still have to follow up on the work that AI does. AI is going to make mistakes. Don't let its mistake derail you. Think of the mistake as your mistake. You didn't communicate clearly. You forgot a nuance or it wouldn't have made that mistake. When you tell it what the mistake was and you tell it to change its rules so that mistake doesn't happen again, it will do it and it will remember better than any employee you've ever hired. You also must keep learning in order to lead this new team. But here's the great thing that team can help you learn. So, remember, I told you about the course that I took on how to build agents, and the instructor missed a key step in helping me get the tech set up? I tried everything. And eventually I took a screenshot and I threw it into AI and I like, what am I missing? I keep trying to do this and it actually taught me what I needed to do to be able to do the thing that I was having problems with. So you can actually learn with your team. You don't have to learn in isolation of your team. So here are my next steps. So two decisions. One, do I want a pure thank you, no ask? Two, a thank you and a replay link, a thank you and an Agent Nation offer link, or chat about this. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go up to Agent Nation and I'm going to grab the link and I'm going to go back to this thing and I'm going to say, chat about this. Please use the link that I am giving you and thank people and send them the link to Agent Nation. And then I'm going to paste. There you go. So you see, it's like I'm holding off because I said I wanted to chat. It's probably going to come back and say, one, is it good? See? Do you want Claude to fetch this content? I'm going to say two, yes, and don't ask again. So see how it's asking me permission? Do you want me to go to the web and look at this or no? Because you don't want to send, like, you know how we get those malware emails? You never want to send AI to a site that could potentially be dangerous. So I want it to ask me, do you want to go? And then because it's my own site, I am comfortable using option two and saying you don't have to ask me to go to this particular site. All right, it's still thinking. Okay, so now we're going to just jump into doing cool stuff, which we are kind of doing. I have a question in the chat. Is there anybody who has a landing page on their website that they don't like right now? A page that they would like redone. They'd like better copy and a better design option. If so, I want you to dump the link into the chat. I'm going to pick one and I'm going to show you how to do it. All right, it is still fetching. So look, let me check to see if the page is live and how it describes the offer so the drafts point at something real. So now what I'm going to do is inside of this terminal, I can actually split my screen. So I'm splitting vertically. Now I have a little new little chat window here that I can use. I'm going to type Claude in and I'm going to press enter and it's going to know what to do. So it's asking me, yes, do I trust Claude? Because I have Claude code installed on my computer. So now it's going to spin up Claude for me. So if I go back over here, it's saying, hi, thank you for showing up. It's giving me the stuff. It's going to ask me if I'm good to let this go. I'm going to go to the chat. Do I have a website? All right. Diana, I'm going to take yours. All right, I'm going to copy this link. And I'm going to go back here. Now, I need you to modify and improve a landing page for a client of mine. The landing page, why am I doing that? I'm going to type. We want you to modify is attached here. I want you to take a look at this landing page and I want you to rewrite the copy as an expert copywriter. I want you to focus on adding value and driving conversion for people to actually reserve their seat. I want you to pay attention to the brand colors that already exist on this website. The deliverable that I want from you is copy that I can paste into Claude Design so that Claude Design can create something brand new for this individual. If you have any questions about this person's brand identity, please ask me before you start. I want you to grab the brand colors, like whatever those numbers, hex codes or Pantones, whatever, off of the website yourself, and use them in the actual prompt that you give me to use in Claude Design. All right, so there's my spoken prompt. Now I'm going to paste the website URL in here. I'm going to put a little space in there because I don't want to confuse it with a dot before the HTTP. And I went too far. Space, space. All right. And let's press enter. So now it's going to work on this. So now, look, it's telling me over here 10 done, continuing, 22 done, continuing, 34 done. So it's working on this. Let's see what happened over here. If we go back to my inbox, look at all these drafts. Draft, draft, as it's working through. If I open this up, here, got my coffee. Scroll down, look at this. I have a reply that I could literally send to Sherry right now that was 100% written by my AI. Thank you for showing up today and for hitting reply. Here's why I asked you to. Your reply landed in my inbox alongside 87 others, and every one of them got a personal response like this one, drafted by my AI assistant. Pretty cool, isn't it? To be able to have AI do this for you. But guess what? It doesn't have to just be an email like that. It can be any email in your inbox. You can teach it to draft replies, and then all you have to do is read the email and read the reply, and if it's good, press send, and if you need to make changes, make changes. All right, so let's go back over here to Diana's website. Do you want to allow Claude to fetch this content? So I'm going to say yes and don't ask again, and I'm going to let it go and do its thing. Let's just go back up here for a second though, and let's look at what it did over here. Remember I pasted this in when we first started, and because I had done it yesterday originally as a test, but now it's created a brand new landing page for me. So
Lisa,
now
I
I have,
don't, Lisa, sorry to interrupt you. I don't know if you've stopped sharing for everyone, but I can't see your screen right now.
oh, no, I didn't stop sharing. So let me
Okay.
share again.
It might have been a me problem. I just want to make sure everybody can see your
Oh,
stuff. Oh,
okay,
they
well, let
say
me
they
share
can see
there.
it.
Okay,
Perfect.
good. All right.
Sorry to interrupt you.
That's okay. I want you to do that. If there's a problem, let me know. So now you can see I have two options for this landing page, and I could now give it to my web person. So I've got this landing page, and I go up here, and if I click on share, I can either oh, look, this is brand new. This was not here yesterday. Implement this design in code. I can download a PDF. I can grab standalone HTML. I can do PowerPoint. I can give it all of the zip files. I can create a PNG. But look at this, Claude Code, send. I love this. Send to Claude Code, send to local coding agent. See, this has changed in just 24 hours. This is why it's so important to be learning this stuff. I love it. So awesome because I will be able to now create things faster and send them to my developer. And eventually I'll probably be able to deploy them on my own. All right, let's come back here. It's still thinking here. So let's spin up another shell. So I like to do different windows for different things so that I can continue with those things. So I'm just going to go into this again. And now what I want to do is, hey, chief of everything, I would love for you to tell the participants of the Claude Convergence how you manage my inbox. Can you please describe some of the rules and nuances that we have in place and the folders that you use to help keep my inbox under control? And can you talk about the scheduling that you have in place to ensure that it never gets out of control? And based on some of the issues that we've run into, do you have any suggestions for them on best practices when setting up an inbox assistant to eliminate some of the challenges that we've seen? Talking conversationally, not high tech prompting, doesn't need to be super special. There are times when you need really great prompts, but not always. So let's see what it does. Let's go back over here and it's asking me, the page is captured. Let me pull the brand. So it's asking me to allow. So I'm allowing it. And now it's asking me to allow again. And I'm allowing it. So now let me pull the setup. It's thinking. It's going through everything. It says good. The zombie label is gone. I had this crazy zombie label for folders that I don't even know how it got there that it had to fix. Okay. It's calling Claude in again. Page is captured. Let me pull the brand colors. It's going through all of that. Well, let's jump back over here. Let's make this screen a little bit bigger so it's easier for you to read. All right, here is how your inbox gets managed. There are two pieces and the distinction matters. The agent file is the one I use when you say triage my inbox. The cloud routine is a scheduled agent running Anthropic servers with its own copy instructions baked in. That's the one doing the work while you sleep. They are not the same thing, and that caused a problem. So now it's telling you the problem that we ran into, which I'll come back to. AI learning catches anything AI related, not just AI. Oh, okay, now it's telling you about the folder. So I have an AI learning folder where all emails, because I am subscribed to a million things about AI learning, so everything goes in there. Then I have non-AI newsletters that go here. I have meeting transcripts for Zoom, Fathom, and Firefly. I have completed, which is a catch-all for all the things that no longer require action. So all my paid invoices, QuickBook payments, Amazon receipts, royalty statements, Asana notifications, my own newsletters. I have a financial folder for receipts with GoDaxy, all my accounting stuff. And then here are the rules. Hard safety rules. Agent never sends an email, only drafts. It never permanently deletes and it never empties the trash. It can move obvious junk to the trash where it is recoverable so mistakes cost nothing. It reads the whole thread, not just the subject line. I had a situation where it didn't read the whole thread and it made a mistake. So now it has to read the whole thread so that it never autofiles without context. Nothing leaves the inbox without a label. I have certain subscription emails that I want to see, so it makes sure they're in my inbox. Whenever it is in doubt, it leaves it and asks, so it gives me an email summary and asks me questions. It runs every hour on the hour all day. So you can see here are some of the things we learned the hard way. It's walking me through all this stuff. I'm just going to come back over here. Um, Number one. Number one. All right. I said yes to all that, Diana. I don't really know if it's true or not, but we'll see what it does. All right. So what I learned the hard way, your automation lives where it runs, not where you edited it. So this is an example of where it learned. Finding the thing generating the mess, not the mess. So it helped me to find something that was causing problems. Make destructive stuff impossible, not just discourage. So the permissions, bias towards leaving in the inbox. Every wrong file costs trust because if it files a legitimate email from a client, that's a problem. Rules compound. So it's got roughly 40 specific rules and it's got one source of truth for open items. All right. And then one more thing that I was just going to ask you. Are you able to distinguish an email from a client, a team member, or a potential lead and spam? Because this is something I have taught it to do. I've given it the entire list of my clients so that it knows. I've given it a list of all the names of my team members, and I have given it examples of spam emails so that it knows, those emails where people, they want to get you more leads or they want to invite you to a podcast that doesn't really exist. It's not a podcast. So I've taught it all of those things to help with the management of the inbox. All right, it's writing the deliverable now. So it's taken 3 minutes and 30 seconds so far to work on this, which is crazy. Okay, what else do I want to show you? Um, Not the way you assume. So it's telling me, yeah. So it's walking you through how it knows and what it doesn't know. There's a gap. Right now, the routine can tell you a real person emailed you. It cannot tell you a retainer client, which is more useful. So you see it say, I can fix that by embedding a compressed roster of your client emails. Want me to build that live into the routine? No. All right, let's move back over here because I want to see what it does. Lost my mouse for Diana. Look at this. Diana, are you excited? I hope it does something really awesome for you. It's even outlining the H1s, H2s. I mean, do you know how to do that when you're writing copy? Do you know what copy should be an H1, H2? Like, it's hard to know all that stuff. All right. Well, let's copy this. Oops. Okay. Copy that. Now let's go over here. Let's go to this and click on new. Let's paste this in. We do not want it to use we don't want it to use mine. So how do I do this? I don't know if I put that in the right spot. I did not. Okay. Let's see what happens. Prototype. All right. Let's just give this a second and see what it does. Go back here. It took this thing 5 minutes and 6 seconds to do this for us, to create that copy, to grab all that information. And let's see. All right. How's everybody doing? Cass, how's everybody doing?
There are a few questions in the chat. Do you want to take some questions now, or do you want me to hang on to them until the end?
Why don't you give me one right now, and then I'm going to move and see what it's built for Diana.
All right. A few people are wondering about what type of email subscription you might need to have in order to connect Claude Code to it. So, for example, is it a specific level of business Google Workspace that is required in order to integrate Claude with it.
No, you just have to connect to Gmail or Outlook, like whatever your mail thing is. You just connect to that. So if you're using webmail, I assume there would be a way that you would connect webmail to it. So it's not the email service that has to be a certain way. It's the connection that has to be available. So um, let me just share my screen and let me open Claude. So if I go to Claude and I want to go, where are my settings? No, I don't want to be incognito. I have this pen. Why do I have this pen? There, you see? Did you see that? I don't drag to move there. I want there. Settings. And under settings, you have connectors. And see, under connectors, I've got, Gmail's connected, Google Calendar's connected. This is not, this is not. Um, you can add connectors though. If you click on add, you can browse connectors and you'll see there's like tons of different things that you can connect to through here. So, is there a particular type of email that somebody would like to know if it connects to?
There was no specific email named or asked about.
Yeah. I think
Uh,
there's just like you can add custom connectors. That might be something that you would need to do with a developer because it probably requires some type of an API. But these are like if I want to filter by, I don't know. Yeah, it's got types here. It doesn't necessarily have, let's start by popular. So
in the
Google Drive,
chat,
Gmail,
in the
Microsoft
chat now,
365.
people are asking about Rackspace email, and then there's also a couple newsletter
But
uh, tools in here, which are different than a regular email.
so Rackspace is the hosting company. It's not necessarily the mail provide. Like it's it's like my email is hosted through um, Rackspace, I think it used to be. Um, but it's configured through Google. So it's the tool that you configure the email through. I assume you don't log into Rackspace. You log into either Microsoft Outlook or you log into Gmail. Like you use one of those mail tools for your email. So um, it should be pretty easy to set up. I can ask, can you connect to Rackspace email? But I don't think Rackspace is it's like the pipeline. It's not the actual mail user, right? So it's like saying, can you connect to AT&T versus can you connect to my phone? There's no Rackspace connector. So it's referring to my account. So if your Rackspace email is forwarded to or accessible through Gmail, it can do that. Or if it's forwarded to or accessible through Microsoft Office, you could do that. All right, I'm going to go back here and see. Oh, it's still checking for design issues, not giving me anything yet, Diana. Okay, do we have another question, Cass?
Yes, the next question is, can you change the font within the terminal, or are you kind of stuck with that very code-looking font?
No, no. The font is controlled by your terminal app where you need to change it. Terminal setting. So I turn to menu settings profile. Uh, I term to menu, settings, profiles, text, uh, hang on here, and then font. Where do we see font? Oh, right here, font. So yeah, you can change the font. So I like, all my fonts are in Montserrat. So let's do that. And now look, it's all in Montserrat. I don't like that. I will reverse that, but it just shows you how easy it is to do. So what I do, I go to services, no, went to settings, I went to profiles, I went to text, and then I went to fonts, and I'm going to go back to the one it was because I like that one better. So yes, you can change the font. There's all kinds of options. All
Oh,
right.
now people weren't seeing that live version. We were looking at your Claude screen.
Oh, you couldn't see the settings thing on my computer?
Yes.
Um, I don't know if you can see it. So ask me if you could tell me if you can see it. Like, can you see the menu right now, Cass, where I go to
Yes, we
settings?
can, yes, we can see that now. I think you were just sharing your browser window and not your whole desk.
Okay. All right. So now you can see you go up to terminal, you go to settings, and then you go to profiles, and then you go to text, and then you go down here to fonts, and there's a whole bunch of fonts. You can pick whatever one you want, and it automatically changes it. All right. So let me go back here. Let's see what I did for Diana. All right, Diana, are you excited? Look at this. I'm gonna like put it into in this tab. Look at this. So let's take a look. This was Diana's original one. Okay, the original page. Where'd it go? God, I have so many tabs open. And now here is the new one. Now keep in mind, she does not have her brand set up the way I have my brand set up, so the brand might not be perfect. But what do you think, Diana? See, drop Diana's photo. See, mine already has photos and everything, photos, logos, everything included. So it's giving you examples where you have to add photos. It's giving you a countdown. It's giving you FAQs. What do you think, Diana? Do you like it? Much cleaner. Love the highlights. See, like I love it because that's just one example. So you guys saw what I did. I literally had different versions of this roadmap. Like I had this one and then I had the other one. And if I go back into Claude Design, I can export both of them and say to my designer, I like this and this. You can even tell it to give you three options and it'll give you three different options. But the key is using your assistant to help you write the copy in a way that structure and the prompt with the copy in a way that gives you kind of the outcome that you want. So that is kind of the key part of the learning. All right. Okay. So let's move on. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about Agent Nation, and I want to talk a little bit about, what you kind of need to know before you start building these things. Because I know it's all slick and shiny and looks cool and fun, and everybody wants to build them, but it's important that you recognize you need to have a baseline knowledge or a baseline of knowledge in order to be able to do this work, or it's going to be really frustrating and overwhelming. Or you need to manage your expectations and be okay with being a beginner learner again and saying, I might just have to watch and take notes and then watch it again and, stop and pause and do the work and raise my hand and ask questions when I need questions answered and not just, give up too quickly. Remember that you are going to be in that consciously incompetent state and be okay with that. So you're going to want some basic LLM knowledge. So when I think about basic LLM knowledge, it's like you understand how to prompt. You understand how to run deep research. You know how to use projects. You've had some experience with GPTs. Like you know the lay of the land. You're not just using ChatGPT, for example, to answer Google questions. You have actually created some outputs from using AI as a whole. So you want to know how to do this stuff. And I think the most important thing is that you have the mindset of how can I do this versus the mindset that I can't, that you're patient with yourself. This is not a course that I'm going to be offering. It is literally a live learning environment. And you have to show up live to learn, and you have to put in the reps in between sessions to reinforce the learning if you want to get the outcomes that are possible from this. So, let me talk to you a little bit about it because there's really two paths. One is a foundational path, which a lot of people, I think we've had over 100 people already go through AI driven marketing made easy. But the next step is really Agent Nation. So let me walk you through Agent Nation and explain what it is. And I'm happy to answer questions about the program, and I'm happy to answer questions about the things that I've taught on here today as well. So, essentially, Agent Nation is teaching you how to do all of the things that I have shown you today and more. And once you start building your own team, you're going to start to have ideas around how do I build this thing and that thing, and you're going to continue to learn and grow. But the promise is I'm going to show you how to build a team of highly skilled agents that you lead that can help you with your operations, your marketing, and your sales. And we start with operations because I want you to buy back time. The problem that we all have is we get stuck in busy work and we don't focus enough on our zone of genius work. So there are some testimonials on here, and these are from people that went through AI driven marketing made easy, not from Agent Nation because Agent Nation is brand new. But I really want to highlight this one from Nicole. Within 6 months, my monthly recurring revenue increased by 175%, and my secured sales for the next 12 months are well over double the previous 12 months. Nicole showed up for almost every single session, and Nicole set aside time after every session to do the work. Those are the results that you can get when you actually do the work. If you don't do anything, nothing changes. You're still going to really be unconsciously incompetent because you weren't brave enough to play and try. It's actually rolling up your sleeves and doing the work that is going to transform your skill set and your thinking. So, this is really for you if you want to build a system where you can use agents to get things done for you. And I'm going to encourage you to start by looking at the repetitive tasks that you do on a daily basis that you don't want to do. Once upon a time, I paid somebody to manage my inbox, and she still works for me, but she does other things now. She doesn't have to manage my inbox because now I have AI managing my inbox. So there is a way for you to deploy your resources differently when you actually use AI for some of the things that people are currently doing in your business. You don't need to be super technical. I promise I will walk you through step by step, and I will be OCD about the screenshots that I take. The only place you need to give me a little bit of grace is I use Mac. So if you use a PC and you ask me a question, because I don't use a PC every day, I might need to go investigate and track the answer down for you. But one thing I can tell you is I am good for my word. I will find you the answer and I will figure it out for you. I just might be a little bit slower than on a Mac. Like I can't open the iTerm on a PC and show you what I just showed you because that's not the device that I use. So this is not a course. A course is something you buy and you mean to finish, and it usually ends up being shelf help. You never come back. This is about transforming your leadership in your business right now. It's taught live in real time. So we're always current. We're doing what's happening in the moment. And it's built inside of a room of like minded people. So you get to learn from each other. We always share what people are getting from each module so you can see what's possible for you as well. So if you want to do this, 3 steps: join the cohort, you're going to build the environment, and you're going to start to run a new type of team. So let me just walk you through some of the things that you need to know. So this starts on August 4th and it runs through to December 22nd of 2026. The sessions are always at 2 to 3:30. They're live on almost every Tuesday. I think there's one week where it's not on a Tuesday, and August 4th and 6th, I think, is a Tuesday and Thursday because the first week we have 2 sessions. So if you want it, Cass, can you put this link in the chat just in case people want to navigate on their own?
Absolutely. It's
Uh,
going in there now.
all right. So the cohort is really a walkthrough of the whole learning program, the areas that we're going to teach, how to use the Learning Hub, why showing up matters, meet your cohorts, and how to prep for the tech setup. So I'm going to show you how to get some of the tech stuff prepped before you arrive. But session one is where you're going to install Claude Code and choose the way of working that fits for you. So I use iTerm 2, but that's not the only way. You can use the native Claude app. You can use the terminal on your computer, or you can use iTerm 2. The reason I use iTerm 2 is I like these multi-lanes because I like to have a lane open for my inbox and a lane open for my program. I like to have different lanes so that I can scroll back and see things that I've done. And that's why I use iTerm 2. The other reason that I use iTerm or the terminal on my computer and not the app is it uses less tokens. So part of the reason I probably haven't blown out of my $100 is because I've learned how to use the terminal, which looks scary, but it's not once you get started. And therefore it doesn't cost as much to operate as when you use the actual app. You'll get a glossary of terms so that the language doesn't feel intimidating. We're going to show you how to connect your tools and how to set permissions so your agents can work. And then we're going to map out the roster of agents that you're going to build over the next 5 months. So you'll walk away with a working setup and a clear plan. Session two, we're going to build your daily dispatch. So we're going to build your daily briefing. What is it that you want delivered to you on a daily basis? This is an easy, low risk first tool to build so that you can see what's possible. From there, you can build out all kinds of other things because now you'll know how to build them. So if you want it to send, the content stuff or the weekly brief, whatever, but there's a framework that you can put together so that your daily dispatch gives you what you want. It doesn't have to be what I want. It can be exactly what you want. You'll learn how to schedule it so that you can either run it automatically or it runs in the cloud. And then you'll get a menu of other simple emails like this that you can set up. So you'll walk away with an agent that's working. Session number 3 is the filing fairy and debrief. So this is where I will teach you how to get stuff filed and how to create a debrief after every call that follows a structure that is specific to you. So, for example, in my debriefs with my clients, I always have it refer to the next call that they have with me. And if they have only a certain number of calls left, it tells them how many calls that they have left. So you can program it to give the information that you want. So you'll walk away with your first 2 agent team, which is your filing fairy and the debrief. Session 4 is all about gatekeeping. This is where you're going to build your own inbox assistant who's going to help you triage everything the way you want it in your business. And you're going to leave with an inbox that finally works for you. So this whole session is all operational. From there, we're going to move into marketing. So we're going to use deep research to generate intelligence on your market and buyer. And then we're going to turn that research into a knowledge file your agents can use to get smarter. And then you're going to have agents that are trained on your buyer and your competitor that can help you when you're writing sales copy, emails, etc., to identify blind spots that you haven't thought of. Or if you want them to write for you, they can do that too. I prefer to write and have it give me feedback, but that's just my preference. You can do whatever you like. There's many ways to do this. Next, we're going to build your perfect positioning from the research. It's going to help to position who you're for, why you're different, and turn it into guardrails that other agents check things against because it knows exactly how you want to be positioned. That will ensure that nothing is ever off message or off brand. So when it's creating those draft replies, it has a knowledge of how you want to be positioned that it sticks with. Next, we're going to cover AI driven search and visibility. And this is going to be led by Cass Bald. And she is going to show you how to use not necessarily just an agent, but you might have to do some work with the actual chat tool in order to then build an agent who can help you create better content for AI driven search. This agent will be trained so that when you're creating new content, you can run it through the agent visibility, the visibility agent to ensure that there are no gaps that you are missing. From there, we'll move into design excellence. So she's going to show you how to use Claude Design. She's going to show you how to do some stuff in Canva so that you can create on-brand assets in minutes. So think presentations, think landing pages, think proposals, think graphics that you want to use on social media, how to actually use your agent to create the right prompt for the design tool to get the outcome that you want. And then session 9, you're going to have a content keeper. You're going to train the agent on your voice. You're going to get fresh content delivered every week. You're going to have an agent that can repurpose content that's in your voice. And you're going to have that agent run every piece through your positioning and visibility agents to make sure it's properly optimized. And then the last section is all about sales. So we're going to build a rainmaker and multiplier agent where it's going to help you to fill your funnel with lead capture assets and personalized outreach. You're going to build the multiplier to mine your inbox and calls for revenue that is maybe you've left sitting on the table. So I get in my daily drafts, it's like, don't forget to reply to so and so. They asked for the link to do this. Or in your call with so and so, they mentioned they were interested in this. Don't forget to send them this. So it is constantly looking for the low-hanging fruit so that I don't leave money on the table. And then session 11, who knows? We're going to see what happens between now and then. Because if there's something cool and new, we need space to make sure that we do that. Worst case scenario, session 11 will be an open Q&A. Best case scenario, there will be something new, and I know there will be something new that you will learn in that session. So you're probably wondering, how much does this cost and yada, yada, yada. So here's what I'm going to do. This program, the early bird pricing is $1,497. If you want, there's a payment plan option. I think it's 4 payments of $400. But to give you the added advantage that you might need if you're feeling like, I don't know if I'm ready for this, I'm going to give you the recordings from the session that I just finished for AI-driven marketing made easy. That's a $2,000 program. And for anybody who decides to register before 9 a.m. on Monday, I'm also going to give you a 30-minute session with me whenever you need it between now and the end of the year. And that 30-minute session with me is valued at $500. I don't actually sell my time in 30-minute increments. I sell a 90-minute deep dive for $1,500. So this is going to be a 30-minute get help from Lisa whenever you need it. It can be about AI, it can be about marketing, sales, whatever you want, in addition to getting AI-driven marketing made easy. Now, if you're thinking, I don't think I'm ready for building agents, I just want to go through AI driven marketing made easy and let me show you that because really what I want to learn in AI driven marketing made easy is I want to learn all of these things. I want to learn, mindset of a modern marketer. I want to learn how to build a marketing plan. I want to learn how to prompt better. I want to learn how to do deep research. I want to learn how to use projects. I want to learn how to build brand trained GPTs. I want to learn how to optimize for AI search. I want to use AI for images and video. I want to create on brand content at scale. I want to plan campaigns and calendars with AI. I want to be able to measure the results of what I'm doing. If you just want all that, if you go to this page and you click to buy right now, we have changed the pricing from 1997. Oh, payment link deactivated. We have a problem here, Houston. There should be a payment link there for $9.97 if you want to do this. So, Cass, can we get the payment link for AI driven marketing, please?
Yep, absolutely. Let me grab that for you.
So, there you have it, my friends. I don't know if anybody has any questions for me at this point, but I am happy to answer questions and I am happy to meet you where you're at. Wendy, if you're in Australia, the sessions are depending on where you are. So they're 2 o'clock my time, which is probably like 4, 8. So if you just enter, let me just ask my phone. Where are you, Wendy, in Australia? Melbourne. When it's 2 p.m. Eastern time, what time is it in Melbourne, Australia? It would be 3:31 a.m. in Melbourne, Australia. So you would need to probably watch the recordings and not come on live, Wendy, because of where you are located. All right. Any other questions for me, Cass?
There were a few other ones. So, can you just confirm the exact timeline for how long this recording will be available? You've said 48 hours and you said Monday. So, what's the time?
Yeah, I told everybody 48 hours, but my team doesn't work on the weekend. So realistically, I'm not going to have anybody take it down until Monday morning at 9. However, if you buy either one of the programs, I'm going to put the recording into the Learning Hub so you'll have access to it there.
Right.
And
Next
Wendy,
question.
it's actually not once a week. It's mostly every other week. So it's not so bad.
Another question was, what do you do with the design that Claude Design spits out to you? How do you get that up into WordPress?
I export the file. So if I go back over here and I go to here, or I'll go to Diana's. Oops, where is it? All right, why am I not finding it? Okay, here. So here, if I go back, I would click on share and I have not done the Claude code yet, so I would try that. But if I was giving it to a designer to deploy on my website, I gave my designer for the Agent Nation page the standalone HTML, and then I also gave it the project archive with all of the zipped files. So those were the two things that I gave him. Other
Another
questions?
question was, I use Google Documents to log things. Is this something that Claude can do for me?
Yes. So if you give it access to Google Docs, it can do it that way. If you don't want to give it access to your Google Doc Drive kind of thing, one of the things that I've done is I've asked it to log things and put it into an email draft, and then I just copy and paste the email draft into a Google Doc. But if you're comfortable giving it access to the Google Doc, it can do it for you.
Okay. Diana wants to know if we can send her that design file.
Yeah, I'll do that for you, Diana.
right. And someone said that they have three different emails, all Gmail based, because they work for three different companies. Can they connect their Claude to multiple email accounts?
I don't know. Let me ask. If you have multiple Gmail accounts, can you connect Claude Code to multiple accounts? It is thinking. I'm going to assume yes, because you just have to go through the login process to authorize it. So I would assume you would just log in multiple times, but okay, so short answer, not with the built-in connector, but yes with a workaround. So the native Gmail MCP connector that Claude Code offers is scoped to a single account. Connecting a second one requires disconnecting the first, and multi-account support is currently an open feature request rather than a shipped capability. So if you rely on the official one-click connector, you're limited to one at a time. So the way people get around this is a custom MCP. So what I would do is I would just ask it to give me step-by-step instructions for how to do it with a custom MCP. Does this work with Thunderbird email? Does email connection work with Thunderbird email? I don't know these emails. You people are not setting everything up through Gmail? Hang on, it's just thinking. Elizabeth asked if there's an opportunity to play with the different agents earlier in the learning. Um, you can play and create agents on your own, and then you can improve upon them once we get to that particular module. But I think once you learn the basics, there are things you'll be able to apply on your own. Um, the offer link, Ed.
I
Let me
just
get
put
it.
it in again a second time
Okay,
for Agent Nation. And
awesome.
the cart link, if you want to just do AI-driven marketing made easy for 997 is also on its way. We'll
Okay,
make sure
great.
that everybody gets all of the links to the offers and the recording right after this as well.
Yeah. So I want to wrap up and just share one last thing with you guys, and that is really, um, you know, what people have said about the AI programs that I have led in the past. So Nicole, 175% increase in monthly recurring revenue within 6 months with secured sales over double the year before. Sarah, it completely changed how I market my business using AI as a thought partner. If you're on the fence, don't wait, just do it. Jay, the best part was having the amazing improvements made to how I marketed my business in the 3 months following the program. It truly opened my eyes to the benefits of AI and how to apply it to marketing. Diane, the biggest shift has been moving from random marketing activities to having a clearer strategy. I feel much more confident about my content and marketing decisions. Richard had helped me create content that sounded like me and not Nelly, my chat GPT bot, trying a little too hard to be helpful. I think we've all been there. Heather, I'd highly recommend Lisa's programs. Iris, I really enjoyed ADMME, got a lot out of it. I implemented almost everything. Phil, thank you for the entire program. Loved every minute. And then I love what Nancy said here. Lisa's way of bridging AI with proven marketing and applying it to our businesses creates a significant competitive advantage. I think the thing that I probably would like to end on for all of you is everything that you learn, whether it's AI driven marketing, whether it's Agent Nation, whether it's being here today, is transferable. It's a skill that is transferable to so many different aspects of your business. remember at the beginning, I said I want you to look at this through the lens of possibility. I want you to be thinking about what are the things you just wish you could get off your plate and get somebody else to do. There are things that you will be amazed that AI can do for you. It will change the way you think about what is possible in your business, and it'll change the speed at which you're able to execute. Wendy, ADMME is AI driven marketing made easy. Sorry, acronyming you guys. All right. Can you create a KPI agent? Yeah, you can create KPI agents. You can create, I don't know if it would just be an agent or if it would be like a tool that you create, but you can do that. You like really the sky's the limit, Dominic. There's so much that you can create. You just have to give it access to the tools and information that you want it to have access to. I mean, I'm building an AI search audit right now where it's going to be able to do 70% of the work that we do autonomously, and we're just going to have to fill in the gaps as humans. So it's really, really, really changing the way that we think about running our business. But, I've been using AI and teaching my clients about AI since ChatGPT first came out. Like ChatGPT was launched in November, December of, I think it was 2021 or 22. And like that January at the beach house, I was working with people on how to use AI, and I have continued to be on that journey and learning. I've invested tens of thousands of dollars in my own learning and hours and hours and hours and hours of my time because I can see the future. And you're not, if you don't have the skills to work with AI in the future, your business is going to be left behind. And there are a lot of people like I got called the C word on Instagram for one of my AI posts. I got called a grifter. Like there are a lot of people out there that are just like so angry about AI. And I don't believe that it's got to be AI versus human. I believe that it can be AI and human. I believe that AI can help us, empower us to do things better, faster. It can help remove inertia so that we can actually do, like, you can take those big creative ideas and deploy them in a much faster way. And you can take some of that busy work off your plate. Like, I mean, I don't have to file hundreds of emails that I get in my inbox anymore because it just does it for me. So, anyways, thank you all for being here. For the 75 of you who are still here, um, I love that you guys are here. Wendy, if you join Ancient Nation and get the AI driven marketing, how long are the learnings available for you in your hub? You will have access to the AI driven marketing recordings and everything in Agent Nation until the end of 2027. So I believe that by the end of 2027, they're probably no longer going to be relevant because stuff will have changed so much, but you will have access until then. And the Learning Hub is pretty cool. I'll show you guys the Learning Hub quickly before we go so that you guys can kind of see what the style of training, my style of training is like for those of you who haven't done this. So if you log in here, you would open the course. You log into the course. This is AI driven marketing made easy. You see that you have some resources, you have your modules. If you click into a module like this, for example, you are going to see the recording here. You'll be able to watch the recording. You'll be able to download the transcript, the slides, the prompt guide. There's a description here. Like every single module is like that. So you just, you would have access to this here is the placeholder for Agent Nation. We haven't set it up yet, but this was the first round of AI driven marketing. This is the second round. And then if you go home, there's a community in here. Most people use the Facebook community more than they use the community in here, but we put announcements in here. There's course related questions, there's a calendar, all that kind of stuff. So it's a community that is built out in Go High Level. So you'll have access to that, those materials till the end of 2027. Now it's with Go High Level, Wendy. It's not with WordPress. All right, guys, I am going to run. Thank you all for being here. And I can't wait to see what you do on this journey. Um, if you take anything away from today, take away the lens of possibility. Take away and start asking yourself, how can I do some of these things? What can I do to get some of the things, the mundane things that I don't want to do off my plate? How can I use this to make my life easier? How can I use this to serve my clients, to support my team? It's going to be an AI and human world. It's not going to be an AI or human world, but it is going to require you and your leadership. And your customers and your team members are expecting you to become an AI driven leader. And I believe you have the skills and ability to do it. So thank you for being here. And hopefully, we will see you all next time. See you in Agent Nation. Bye, guys.